Before we soared at 35,000 feet, before jets stitched continents together in mere hours, the world was vast, slow, and bound by gravity. If you wanted to cross an ocean, it took weeks, braving storms and salt. To deliver a letter across a country, days by horse or locomotive. Human movement was chained to the ground. Then, a machine changed everything. The airplane didn't just bring speed, it brought freedom. Suddenly, nations were neighbors. Wars moved faster. Business went global. And dreams stretched beyond the clouds. The world we know, instant, connected, in motion, was born not in a war room or a laboratory, but in a dusty bicycle shop. Two brothers, with no formal education, dared to do the impossible. Their flight lasted just 12 seconds, but it reshaped the century. This is their story. Welcome to This Changed Everything.
Wilbur and Orville Wright weren't born into privilege. They weren't celebrated scholars or wealthy inventors. They were quiet, curious boys from Dayton, Ohio, sons of a bishop and a mother who could fix anything with her hands. From a young age, they were drawn to building things, simple toys, printing presses, bicycles. But their obsession with flight began with a gift, a small toy helicopter, powered by rubber bands and built from cork, paper, and bamboo. When it rose into the air, hovered for just a moment, and spun to the floor, the spark was lit. It wasn't just a toy, it was a question. If that can fly, what else could? As teenagers, the brothers opened a print shop, then a bicycle business. They built machines with balance, control, and precision. But what they were really assembling was a philosophy. They believed machines should be beautiful in function, not in form. They believed in solving problems, not chasing fame. And above all, they believed that flight was possible.
Flight is not magic. It's a language, one written in air, pressure, lift, and gravity. And to master it, the Wright brothers knew they'd need to learn every syllable. At the heart of flight are four invisible forces. Lift, the upward pull of air flowing over a wing. Weight, gravity, dragging everything toward Earth. Thrust, the forward force, driven by engines. And drag, the resistance of air pushing back. But what makes an aircraft truly fly isn't just those forces, it's control. Imagine trying to balance a dinner tray in a storm. That's what the early pioneers faced. The Wrights studied how birds banked, dipped, and soared. They noticed how wings could flex, how balance was dynamic. They realized a plane needed to yaw, roll, and pitch to truly steer through the air. Flying, they discovered, was not about conquering the wind. It was about understanding it.
The dream of flight didn't begin in Dayton. For centuries, people tried. Some jumped from towers with wings made of feathers. Others launched steam-powered contraptions that burst into flame. But by the late 1800s, things were changing. Otto Lilienthal, the German glider pioneer, built curved wings, made over 2,000 flights, and died in one final crash. Octave Chanute, the American engineer, shared data, encouraged collaboration. Inventors in France, Britain, and America all tried, but most lacked the key ingredient: control. They could glide, but not steer. Many believed flight was simply a matter of power. Build a big enough engine, and the sky would open. While others guessed, the Wrights measured. In their bicycle shop, they built a wind tunnel, a wooden box, a homemade fan, and pure determination. They tested over 200 different wing shapes. They invented their own instruments to measure lift and drag. And what they found changed everything. The data from earlier pioneers was flawed, some of it completely wrong. Using their wind tunnel, the Wrights created accurate airfoil designs, wings that didn't just float, they moved with control. But the true breakthrough was wing warping. By twisting the wings in opposite directions, they could roll the plane, just like a bird adjusting its feathers. It was elegant, simple, revolutionary. And by 1902, they had a glider that flew not only with lift, but with purpose. In 1903, after years of gliders and trials, they assembled the Wright Flyer, a biplane with a 40-foot wingspan weighing 605 pounds. Its frame was made of spruce wood, its wings covered in stretched muslin cloth. The engine? Built on hand. The propellers? Designed from scratch. Every bolt, every brace, theirs. The Flyer looked fragile, almost laughable. Some called it foolish. But the Wrights believed in the science. They believed in each other. And on the sands of Kitty Hawk, they were ready to prove the world wrong.
December 17th, 1903. The Wright Flyer, fragile, hand-built, rests on wooden rails. Orville straps in. Lying flat on his stomach, he grips the rudder wires. The machine lurches forward. Then, it lifts. 12 seconds. 120 feet. But in that fleeting moment, mankind let go of the Earth. They would fly 3 more times that day. The final flight lasted 59 seconds, almost a minute in the air. Then, a gust of wind flipped the Flyer, damaged beyond repair. But it didn't matter. The age of flight had begun, and the world didn't even notice.
Even after they flew, no one believed them. The press barely noticed. The military laughed. People thought it was a hoax, a publicity stunt from 2 unknown bicycle mechanics. But the Wrights didn't argue. They got back to work. In 1904, they flew again and again. By 1905, they stayed in the air for over 30 minutes, flying in circles, climbing, turning, landing with precision. They had built the first practical airplane. Europe paid attention. Crowds gathered in France. The Wrights were no longer dismissed. They were celebrated. The U.S. military placed its first order. They were inventors, pilots, businessmen, shaping a new age. But success came at a cost. Wilbur took on legal battles, public demonstrations, constant travel. His health declined. In 1912, he died of typhoid fever. He was only 45. Orville, devastated, carried their legacy, but he never flew again.
In 1903, the Wright Flyer lifted off for 12 seconds. Today, planes cross oceans in hours. Jets scream past the speed of sound. Rockets leave Earth entirely. Every cockpit, every wing, every space shuttle and satellite owes its design in part to what the Wrights began. The principles they uncovered of lift, drag, pitch, yaw, control still govern every flight today. Their vision gave us commercial airlines, airborne rescue, satellite GPS, fighter jets, drone delivery, and global connection. Their machine was made of wood and cloth, but their idea was made of something stronger: curiosity, persistence, imagination. And from that, a new age was born. The sky was no longer the limit. It was only the beginning.
The Wright brothers didn't invent the dream of flight, but they gave it wings. With wood, fabric, and vision, they turned the impossible into the inevitable. And when they took off from that sandy beach, humanity followed. Our world would never be the same again. This changed everything.